In Consumer Corner, we take a look at trends creating a buzz here in China. On today's show, we'll discuss graveyard prices in China. The crazy high prices of houses have been a complaint for Chinese people for years. High house prices means the value of land goes up. With higher land prices, other costs also go up. These include costs for farming, parks, and burying the dead in graveyards. According to a report exposed by the Chinese government, the total population older than 60 years old has exceeded 100 million as of this year. With the intensified fears related to the aging population, the number of deaths will rise as well, which increases the market demand for graveyards. As of 2010, about 5,000 acres of land for graveyards were approved by the Shanghai government. In the past 3 years, almost 80% of them have been used. Now only about 1,000 acres of graveyards are available for people in Shanghai. Insiders exposed that the government didn't plan to develop more graveyards. The land left would be used up in the next 8 years. The shortage of graveyards has quickly pushed up its prices. In early November of this year, many citizens in Qingdao, the Shandong province, brought up the issue of high graveyard prices to the government. The Qingdao government expressed at a later time that it planned to build more affordable graveyards for ordinary people. According to a cemetery, which has built some affordable graveyards, an ordinary graveyard is about 15,000 yuan, or $2,500 for each one. Luxurious ones could reach about 5,000 yuan, or $76 per square foot for each one. The affordable graveyards sound promising, but the Qingdao government also stressed that it's difficult to decide which people should be given preference in buying up space at graveyards. With the rising number of deaths, it's called for more land for building graveyards. This put more pressure on the land supply. In this way, affordable graveyards would not be realized very soon. Now the Chinese government has avoided carrying out effective policies for curbing the high prices of graveyards, so people still need to spend a lot of money on it. In a cemetery in Beijing, a graveyard with less than 1 square foot can be priced at more than $540. The highest price could soar to $9,100 for about 3 square feet. Insiders said that the profit margins in this industry were almost always higher than 50%. In general, 1 acre of land could be used for about 350 graveyards. Even if each graveyard was sold at about $1,600, the total sales would easily reach about $490,000. According to the Chinese government's policies, the cemeteries are free for business taxes. It also brings more profit margins to developers. Many Chinese net users also showed their complaints about the high graveyard prices. Some of them even satirized that in China, it's not only hard for people to buy houses, but ordinary people can't even afford to die. One net user said, quote, "To most Chinese people, to live in this country has required a large cost for it, just like the high housing prices. Now it even seems to be a luxurious thing for ordinary people to choose to die. What a ridiculous world it is." Other net users assume that one day the purchase restriction policy will be used in buying graveyards as well. One net user wrote, quote, "If the graveyard prices keep rising, I guess the Chinese government would have to carry out the purchase restriction policy on graveyards as well. If so, it's really nice to let more people buy graveyards. At the least, it will ensure that most people could have a house when they die. Most of them even have no chance to buy a real house when they live in the world." Some other net users also hold the view that it's not wise to spend so much money to buy a graveyard. People could use this money more effectively when they live. One net user insisted, quote, "In my view, I prefer to spend so much money to improve my life when I live instead of using them to buy a graveyard. But to most Chinese people, they're willing to invest so much in it, mainly out of traditional beliefs. In this way, the high graveyard prices just reflect the real market demand." Another net user also expressed his concerns. One wrote, quote, "If the government didn't take any measures to curb the crazy market, the possible situation in the near future would be that those wealthy people could live a better life when they live in the world. Even if they passed away, they could also have a graveyard. However, ordinary people not only couldn't afford a house when they are alive, but they also barely have a chance to buy a graveyard when they die. What a miserable life." Data show that the total revenues of the funeral industry could amount to about 200 billion yuan, or $33 billion for each year. Analysts said the graveyards in China will be used up in the next 10 years. The shortage of supply in this industry would push up higher prices for graveyards as a result.